I vividly recall studying this week's Torah portion in day school when I was a kid. Why? It starts off with the very famous, exciting story of the fight between Joseph and his brothers. They sell him as a slave. And then there's this interlude. And I remember the rabbi telling us, we're going to be skipping chapter 38. And I couldn't help but wonder, boy, that sounds suspicious. Why would we be skipping a chapter, particularly in the middle of this exciting story? So I went home that night, rifled through my parents' library until I found an English translation of the Torah, and sure enough, wow, did I understand why the rabbi had skipped it. Because chapter 38 contains the story of Yehuda, Judah, and Tamar, and it's quite a racy story. Now, I hate to do this, but I know that it works. I don't have enough time in this video to tell you the whole story, so you're going to have to find an English translation of the Torah and read it. You'll find it quite interesting. But I do have time to share with you one insight from that story. In the middle of the episode, Yehuda finds himself in a very difficult, awkward, precarious position. And it requires him to ask a huge favor from his dear friend, the Gentile, Chira the Adulamite. He has to ask Chira to take a goat from his flock, from Yehuda's flock, and to find a certain woman and give her the goat in payment for certain services that she had rendered, and to take back the collateral that Yehuda had left with her in the form of his cloak, his signet ring, and his staff. You can scarcely imagine a more embarrassing conversation that a man would have to have, let alone a sage of the caliber of Yehuda. And so perhaps the Torah is hinting to us that all of us, each of us, needs a friend with whom we are that close, a friend with whom we can share anything, no matter how awkward, no matter how embarrassing. A friend who will tell it like it is, won't just be a yes man, will tell us things that we may not want to hear, will help keep us on the right path. Sometimes my clients will call me, and they'll say to me, can I tell you a secret? Will it be kept confidential? You won't tell anyone else? And I say, sure, with one caveat. If you tell me that you're about to maim or kill someone, then I'm going to have to report you to the authorities. Only once did a client say, oh, in that case, I better not tell you what I had planned to say. But in most instances, they do share that secret. Why? Not because I'm a yenta, not because I want to hear their secrets, but because they want to unburden themselves. They want a friend. They want someone to ask for advice. And maybe that's why in Pirkei Avos, in the ethics of our fathers, we were exhorted not to merely find a friend or to make a friend. We're told to acquire a friend. Why that strange language? Because when you go about acquiring a friend, you're putting in time. You're putting in effort, expense, just like if you were going to go acquire an important possession, like a car or a house. Friends bought cheaply often aren't friends, or they're not real friends, not the kind of friends that we need. And maybe that's also why in a yeshiva, the Talmud is passed down and taught b'chavrusa, in study partnerships. Two people sit down across from each other or next to each other at a table, and they battle out the various topics in the Talmud, sometimes agreeing, often arguing. And when they do that, they don't just create a bond of scholarship, they also create a bond of friendship. A rabbi can teach you fear of heaven, but it's your friend that can teach you love of heaven. And that's why it's so important to acquire a good, dear, close friend.